That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Let's go. GameNChick Gaming.
Hello once again, my chickadees. GameNChick is back once again with another review. Before we hop into this thing, I'd like to give two big thank yous to Narvitech for sponsoring this review by providing me their game capture box, as well as a thank you to Ubisoft for providing me a review copy to make this review possible. Thank you so much! Now with that having been said, let's go! Before we get to Rainbow Six Extraction, I would like to thank Narvitech not only for sponsoring this review, but also for sending me their Narvitech NJ300 game capture box. Super awesome! We'll dive right into Rainbow Six, but first, I'd like to give my quick mini review of this product and how it stacks up to my Elgato HD 60S Plus. Information to know right off the bat is that it comes bundled with a download card that gives you access to products like Screen Recorder 4, which can be used for live streaming simultaneously, sort of like Restream and PowerDirector 15 for some added boost to your arsenal for a little bit more video editing. But that's not all, because Narvitech totally hooks you up by also including HDMI, USB, Type-C cable, capture box, well, duh, and a 3.5mm phone jack for built-in party chat. The heck? Now that's not something I'd personally use, as I'm a loner and basically like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh.
Looks like fun. Wish I could have some.
But for people that do a lot of party chat, I can definitely see this coming in handy. Once taken out of its decently designed box, you will notice that it's pretty small. In fact, it's basically the same size as my external hard drive that I use to capture all my game footage, which isn't a bad thing as it makes it easier to take with you on the go, wherever you decide to run off to after escaping the angry Pokemon fanbase for liking Game Freak. In comparison to the Elgato, it's just slightly bigger, but it has more so to do with Elgato being nice, fat, and round like Dr. Eggman, and Narvitech coming in at a square-like shape similar to SpongeBob. Out of the gate, the NJ300 to me gains the advantage by its ease of use. What does that mean? Well, with Elgato, you must install a specific program in order to begin using it, and sometimes things can get a little wonky. But here with the NJ300, it's basically a plug-and-play with no installation needed, and my OBS picked it up without issue instantly. The astonishing thing for me, or rather something that saves me from a headache, was also the fact that I did not have to adjust my settings in OBS at all. Simple and stress-free. Perfect. But what about delays, lag and latency, overall quality, and compatibility with existing software? Don't worry, we'll get to that before wrapping this up. First off, before you get started, much like Elgato's HD 60S Plus, Narvitech's NJ300 also utilizes 4K pass-through, but ultimately settling in at 1080p, 60 FPS. Not bad by any means, and both still look really dang good, with HD 60 having just a slight advantage over NJ300 by recording HDR gameplay with its 4K capture utility. Honestly though, this is about where it ends when it comes to HD 60 beating out the NJ300 somewhat, at least from my personal experience with both products. For instance, when using my HDMI switcher to switch from my PC to my gaming consoles, which I have PS5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch hooked up to, when using my Elgato, switching between PC and console takes roughly 5 to 6 seconds to transfer, leaving just a solid black screen till the signal comes through. But with NJ300, this is non-existent, with the signal popping up almost immediately, and the latency and lag when viewing the output video in OBS having hardly any delay, making it playable just while watching the OBS screen itself when compared to Gato's half a second to full second delay. Definitely feels great. Another issue non-existent so far with Narvitech's NJ300 is the lack of any real recording problems so far. Currently, I've used NJ300 to record indie gameplay, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves playthrough, Rainbow Six Extraction gameplay for this review, and many other titles, with some videos being upwards of 6 to 7 hours long, with the videos themselves also coming out really nice, clean, and smooth with no audio issues or overall video issues. However, with HD 60, I've had to adjust settings in both the Gato program as well as OBS, due to picture issues and audio being out of sync. You have no idea how much this ticked me off when playing through Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And after a 6-hour recording session, finding out all my footage had picture problems and all audio was delayed by 4 to 5 seconds, making me have to readjust all of my settings and redo the entire playthrough. Holy crap, was it infuriating. But this was not an issue so far with the NJ300. However, annoyances aside, let's see how HD 60S Plus stacks up to the Narvitech in actual picture quality. In this comparison, we'll be using Rainbow Six Extraction to compare the overall picture quality that each product outputs and displays. As stated earlier, we will be using the 4K pass-through at 1080p 60 FPS to judge both of them. When using the Gato, you'll notice that the game looks and sounds great, picture quality looks sharp, but it kind of gives you a washed-out looking quality overall. This can be fixed slightly using Elgato software to change the contrast and brightness. It's not a big deal overall, but sometimes you'll find yourself adjusting the settings multiple times depending on what game you're playing and what color scheme you're looking for. NJ300, on the other hand, has the opposite issue. Instead of a washed-out look, it has a stronger image quality with more vibrant colors, and it showcases a ton of more details overall. This becomes extremely apparent when showing the products in-game side by side of one another or one after the other, with the output quality of each of their captures looking almost night and day from one another. I was honestly pretty shocked by this, as I've used Elgato for years now and thought it was the best I could do. But seeing is believing. Unless you're seeing pink elephants or something, then you better seek some help. So after everything having been said, what is my verdict overall with the NJ300? Well, it has advantages over Elgato with its non-existent signal delay, little to no latency and lag, ease of comfort with plug-and-play and no extra software installations, crisp colors and better detail in its picture quality. They're all great. But where it falls short in its efforts, however, is its file size output being super large at times, with a 2-hour recording coming out to 20 gigabytes compared to Elgato's 8 to 10 gigabytes. And every now and then the picture quality ends up going a tad bit dark, and with no software to fix this with, it's up to you to manually adjust the brightness yourself in your preferred editing program. At the end of the day, it's really up to you, but for the reasons I've stated already, with no delay, no lag, higher picture quality, and plug and play, it's a product I can easily recommend to anyone who wants to upgrade or get their first capture card. It's compatible with Windows and Mac, and also with all your favorite programs like OBS, XSplit, and PostPlayer, alongside streaming platforms like Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So if you're in the market, give it a shot. I highly recommend it. So now with that puppy out of the way, let's get into the review of Rainbow Six Extraction. Rainbow Six Extraction is a cooperative first-person survival shooter that is developed by Ubisoft Montreal and published by Ubisoft. After what seems like a forever-lasting delay and name change for obvious reasons, the game finally released. Now, nearly 3 years after its initial announcement, is the hype still there for this title, or will it end up in the bargain bin in a couple of weeks? Only one way to find out, so let's go! Gameplay. Alright, so you may have noticed I skipped the story there. Well, that's because overall there isn't a story mode per se. Most of the game's lore is done through small cutscenes or hidden within codecs or intel. The basic premise of the entire game is a parasite mutation has broken out and the company React deploys its fighters known as operators to contain and eliminate all mutated threats. Very simple. Another reason why there isn't a story arc overall here is due to the fact that this is also an online-only game, with the focus of having to squad up with 2 other players in order to complete your objectives and eliminate parasites. Sure, you can play solo as well, but as I'll explain a little later, you'll see that it isn't actually a wise thing to do, trust me. Going into this title, it isn't exactly new to me, mainly in regards to the main game's mechanics and the way it plays, so it was easy for me to pick up and play due to being a part of the technical test for the title back in November. However, that didn't necessarily make this title a walk in the park either. Oh no, far from it. So let's be like Dr. Brickbaker D&D and extract on out of here and get to the gameplay, shall we? The game functions overall like Rainbow Six Siege plays, only this time with a little bit of a dumber AI than you may be used to. But just because the AI is dumb as a cat chasing a red laser dot doesn't mean that it negates any challenge to you. When starting out your game, you're able to choose from 4 different maps, with those being New York, San Francisco, Alaska, and Truth or Consequences, all being unlocked by leveling up your milestone level. With these mentioned maps in the game having 3 different sub-areas each, and every single one having a different objective or goal to achieve. These goals ranging from tagging enemy grunt parasites, using explosives to kill a specific amount of mutations, putting sensors on mutation pods that spawn more parasites, etc. But hang on, there's more. Those are just the operator-based objectives to complete. That doesn't include the regular mission objectives. Operators? Don't worry, I'll get to them in a minute. But first let me explain some of the mission objectives themselves, so you can get a rough idea of how things will go down each match. Besides the operator objectives I just listed, you will also be granted 3 separate subzones, containing 3 varied mission goals, that involves activating a sonar that attracts all nearby mutations to you like flies to poop.
I'm sorry, I have to...
Plant devices on mutated pods to stop them from spawning parasites, getting biopsy tests on the parasite mutations by being very sneaky, and giving them a good melee hit to get a sample of their blood,
Sneaky, sir.
luring an enemy mutation into a safe zone area to unleash a trap on him like Mousetrap, a very deadly game of Mousetrap that is, or activate beacons and hold command points for a specific amount of time, while mutations busting through the walls make you scream. Not me, of course, I'm talking about you screaming. I'd never do that, I swear. The game can feel very intense at times, and even downright eerie due to the atmosphere presented. A lot of the time you can't see an enemy, but can hear them crawling or even making noises, and this can get a bit nerve-wracking. But all things go to hell when you start encountering the enemy mutations face to face, who all differ in variety. Some of these include spiker mutations having electricity and shooting you from afar, little baby breacher and bloater crab-like creatures that will either rush you and explode outright or explode into a green poison mist, which I may or may not have made little fart noises to every time I exploded one. And then there's grunt mutations that chase you and fury swipe at you like you just called their alien mama fat. Mama aliens? Now that I mention it, these pods do look like the pods you see in Aliens movies or on a set of Godzilla. There are a lot more than just those mutations though, but let's move on for now. As stated earlier, this game is focused a lot on the cooperative gameplay style, with the overall point of the game being to partner with 2 other players. However, you are able to play solo, but it's not recommended. I'll explain. With a squad of 3, should you be downed, your teammate can pick you up, carry you back to the safe zone, and save your character operator like they're your Sam from The Lord of the Rings. They can't carry the mission objective for you, Mr. Frodo.
But I can carry you! Come on!
They're back. The underground team is down. Change in priorities. Next mission is a rescue.
But on solo mode, however, should you die, that's it, game over. Oh, well, I'll just hop back in and keep playing, you say to yourself, right? Nope. You see, because every time you die as one of your operators, they become unusable and go MIA, which gives you 2 choices. You can replay the level, find your downed operator in a cocoon that requires one person to pull on them, while the other shoots glowing sacks connected to the cocoon to break them out before they die. It's intense as all hell. Should you fail, they will return back to your selection screen, but with decreased experience points. Should you succeed though and successfully get them back to the safe zone healing chamber, they will regain health points back slower every time you complete a mission. Sweet! But hold up, I still haven't explained just what the heck the operators are. Oops, sorry about that. Operators in the game are the characters that you're able to play as, with each having their own character skills, weapon choices, and stat skills. Such as Doc having health injectors to revive yourself or teammates when you're downed, Ella with proximity mines, Lion that uses a drone to detect all moving enemies around you, and so forth. Stats also play a part in how you strategize, due to each character having different attributes relating to speed and armor, with characters like Alibi having 3 speed bars but only 1 armor bar. She's fast, but has low defense, which is in contrast to someone like Rook, who has 3 armor bars compared to his 1 speed bar. It's all about the type of character that you wish to play as. Are you a run and gunner? Try picking a speed class to try and get out of tough situations and run your butt off to get to your extraction point. Are you slow but have good defense? Take your time, sneak, and stealth in your environment. You're your own boss. On top of those stats, all operators have a separate leveling mechanic that's different than your normal account milestone. Leveling your account milestone capping at level 30 will unlock you new gear, missions, tech, weapons, tokens, etc. But playing as an individual character and leveling that of each operator allows you to advance their character skills and techniques. Pretty cool, right? Almost as cool as my dog in sunglasses with cheese on her head. What? Oh, nothing. The crazy thing about each operator is that you get 10 total milestone upgrades for each of the 18 characters who you will get to unlock all the way to milestone 17. 17, you say? Extraction Queen, young and sweet, milestone 17. My bad, guys. Got in the zone for a second. With each milestone achieved for your characters, you gain operator advancements. These advancements being upgrades such as health shots that will heal yourself and revive teammates, new weapons, movement speed upgrades, revive with a higher HP count, charge swings for Operator Sledge and his hammer when it's time to, hammer, that ends up so powerful that it can now break down walls, just like Jericho. You thought I was gonna make an MC Hammer joke, didn't ya? Ha! Gotcha! You can't touch this! Oh, wait, there it is. Each operator can also equip headgear and uniforms, but this is basically just for cosmetics. I personally have not noticed any real benefit to specific gear equipment other than just wanting to look cool. I have a Daco on my gun add-on though. His name is Cooper. He protects me everywhere I go. When you think you're done with operators, think again, because like most online shooters nowadays, you're also able to pick and choose their own weapon loadout, with you being able to equip shotguns, machine guns, pistols, etc., all of which are upgradable to include silencers to improve stealth in missions, red dot sight for better pinpoint accuracy, grips that protect against weapon recoil, or extended barrels that are used for long-range shooting. But even then, that is not all you can do with your operators, because now we're getting to your special abilities known as React Tech. Man, there's quite a lot in this game, huh? React Tech is equipment for each operator for explosives and gear, pertaining to each tech that spans from impact grenades, scan mines to see enemies in the area, nitro cells that can be detonated whenever you wish, stun grenades to destabilize the mutations momentarily, and gear having upgrades like recon drones to survey the rooms ahead of you, extra body armor, revive kits for health regeneration, ammo satchel that starts your missions with 50% more ammo, etc., etc. All of these can be purchased the further you raise your milestone level using React tokens that you will receive from successful missions and completed in-game objectives. While everything above sounds fun, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are several issues for me personally with the game. My first gripe is solo mode. Sure, it can be good if you only do 1 or 2 subzones in the area, but due to the game's difficulty, you will find yourself getting so overwhelmed very quickly by enemy mutations that it will start to feel very, very cheap. On top of getting frustrated, on solo mode, should you die, you have no chance at rescue like you would if your teammate saved your body, which means you lose a ton of EXP, and I mean a lot. I'm talking thousands. If you spent hours leveling and die, chances are you will de-level to a previous milestone level and will have to do it all over again. Reminds me of dying in Final Fantasy XI in Crawler's Nest and having to spend another 4 hours to make back the experience I lost. It sucked. Playing solo makes you fall victim to enemy spores that are placed around each map, which will cling to you and explode, poisoning you. Alone, nothing can be done. But with a friend, you can at least scream like a sissy girl as your buddy shoots these spore-like tumors off your back. Too long don't care version, stick to online with friends. Extra stuff. Besides your main missions that I just talked about, there is still a little bit more to do to keep you occupied, such as Maelstrom Protocol, assignment missions, and VR training. Maelstrom Protocol is a squad-based mode where you must make it through 9 different subzones without dying. It's basically an endurance round of survival of the fittest. Resources become fewer, parasites become stronger and change each time, and you have a limited roster. Definitely isn't for the weak of heart. But the ends justify the means due to the headgear and the other rewards you acquire should you claim the day and achieve victory. On the flip side of things, assignment missions are missions that are only available for a limited amount of time. In my case at the point of playing, it was Wall-to-Wall Alaska, where you must form a squad to stabilize the parasite of the area during its abnormal stress phase. This is hit or miss, quite frankly, because you need to be super leveled up to even stand a chance, or don't even bother at all. I'm serious, go away. Finally, there is VR training, which is, quite obvious. It basically teaches you the main mechanics of how the game's controls work and how each mode will play out, just like every other tutorial or training mission in the history of gaming. Nothing special, but good to learn the ropes, as there is quite a lot to learn. That way you don't go into a match wearing your dunce cap. Overall, when it's all said and done, Rainbow Six Extraction ends up being sort of a mixed bag. On the one hand, the combat is intense, decent enemy variety, strategy over gunning your way through, utilization of teamwork, great atmosphere, lots of content to unlock and level up. All that is great, don't get me wrong. However, at the same time, it has a very cheap feeling solo mode that isn't really fun at all. Some missions, even in different areas, can kind of feel the same at times. De-leveling as punishment for dying could demoralize you from playing anymore, which then puts into question the game's longevity. How long can this keep people occupied? Will it be like The Division and people keep coming back for years? Or will it be dead within a year itself? It's hard to say. The content in this game is great, but after a while it might get a bit repetitive depending on how long it takes for updates to come out. If you're a solo player who doesn't have access to friends or doesn't want to play with randoms, then this game is definitely not for you. But if you have one or even two friends to play with, then I can definitely recommend it because hilarity does tend to break out when buddies are involved. For sure. For $40, I think it's worth a buy for what it offers you at the moment. But hey, if you have Game Pass, I wouldn't hesitate on picking it up there. Or if you're really scared about it, PlayStation players, wait till it hits $20. Your choice. But for me, when it's all said and done, my verdict is clear. GameNChick says bye now. Hey everyone! Thanks for watching! I really hope you enjoyed that review, and I look forward to bringing more to you in the coming future. For new people, feel free to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like or share, and for people already subscribed, make sure to hit that notification bell so that you do not miss out on any future content upload. Also, feel free to click on my other reviews linked above because they're kinda cool too. So, give them a look. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch all you chickadees on the next one.